Hello, everyone. My name is Ember. I am a transgender woman publicly going through my transition for science. And on this channel, I make content at the intersection of LGBT issues and countering pseudoscience and other harmful nonsense. Today is my day 150. I mark the days from when I got my legal papers back because pinning down precisely when I started to transition is kind of fuzzy. It's a long story, but what's important is that I'd already started when I sent in the paperwork for the court order. The day it came through seemed like a solid, hard date to count from. This is day 150 of my legal recognition as a woman. For my transition overall, add a couple of months. So there's a lot to talk about. The legal stuff isn't over. And there's medical stuff, other health stuff, social stuff, and possibly more. So let's go! Legal stuff. I'm waiting on my birth certificate. Now, I already mentioned my court papers, and I used my court papers to update my ID, and I used my court papers to update my social security card. Now, interesting thing about my social security, I could only update my name because when the clerk went to update my gender marker, I was already listed as female. In fact, he could see in the records that that had never been changed. I was assigned female at birth. Now that's an interesting ongoing mystery. I'm still in the dark on what's up with that, but I'm keeping an eye out for additional clues. Stay tuned! Or, subscribe. Now, most everything I managed to get done within a month of getting my court papers. Most of it within 2 weeks. The papers themselves took about 2 weeks. Here in New York, it's relatively quick and easy for a fee. But the rest is waiting on the birth certificate. And, it's not like you need that for some really important things like your passport or something. But that obstacle aside, overall it was difficult, but I was able to steamroll it fairly quickly. And now we wait on the great state of New York. Medical stuff! Right now, the ongoing processes are HRT and laser. I just got my blood tested last week, and my endocrine system is entirely within the middle of the female range. Huzzah! Now, with HRT, you're going to test a whole bunch of different things. It depends on which direction you're transitioning, of course, but you're going to want to test estrogen, testosterone, probably potassium, possibly some other things to make sure your organs are functioning properly, and wrap them all up in a nice little bunch. In my case, the lab had to take 3 vials of blood. But yeah, everything came out good. I expect I'll be having an appointment with my clinician soon to discuss these things. But since everything seems to be on track, we're probably in good shape. Also, I had my 4th laser session today. I think my chest may be done, or very close. The face hurts more, but there's less pain every time because there are fewer hairs to heat up. It takes a long time, 5 weeks between appointments minimum, but progress is definitely happening. And while I wish it was over already, I'm content with being on the way to banishing one big dysphoric factor for good. Surgeries are still half a year away and completely out of the realm of financial possibility, short of several miracles. Send help. I am looking into dental work, though. That I do have insurance for. It's just a matter of finding a dentist that takes my insurance, is accepting new patients, and has hours I can get there in. Eventually I'll find one. That's not strictly trans-related, but is a huge part of overall health, which I consider part of my transition, because it was only once I decided to transition that I suddenly found I wanted to live and now cared about my own health. How remarkable, right? So, health stuff. Weight loss. Those of you who've been around for a while are very aware that I used to be a lot bigger. And I mean a lot. As of today, I am down 140 pounds and under 200 pounds for the first time in over 20 years. I kind of want to have a party just for that. But that's not what we're here for. Now, unlike the health scammers and the gurus who have a surefire plan to sell you, I know what works best is different for everybody. For me, the single biggest factors were calories and portion control. I was taking in way more than I needed. Once I cut it down, combined with the fact that I have a very high caloric expenditure job, I started to shrink. Be safe though. Even being careful. I've had a couple of dizzy spells when I exert myself and forget a meal. It also gets harder as you go, for me at least. The first 100 went relatively fast. Now I have to fight for every ounce. But keep the pressure on, don't give up, and gradually there will always be progress, even if you get stuck on a plateau for a while. I'm also well over 7 months off cigarettes and nearly nicotine-free. I've been using these vapes to step down gradually because I'm putting my body through a lot all at once, and I'm currently at 0.005%. It's probably so close to nothing I could just stop from here, but I'm still going to phase through true 0% to let my body adjust and minimize problems. So overall, the progress is generally great. I feel great. I'm happier with myself than I can ever remember being. There's still a long road ahead on many of these things, some much longer than others, but I can see myself sometimes now, not just the body I happen to occupy. It's really wonderful. On the social side, things are harder. On the plus side, I'm having more and more days where I just fully pass. Those I consider to be the days when people treat me like a person and don't act weird or be rude or try to hurt me. Those are fantastic days and make me so happy that I lived long enough to see them. But the more my body changes and the more obvious it becomes that I'm a trans woman, the more often people who aren't so nice are noticing me. I had an incident yesterday. I was at a stop delivering, and the previous day I'd been at the same stop, and it's a long drive to that stop, so I'd had to use the bathroom. And the employees gave me directions. I went, I used the bathroom. All was well. Today, a couple of human resources people, they said, "Can we talk to you outside?" Sure. So we went outside, and TLDR, they told me that they want me to feel safe and comfortable using the restrooms when I have to, but could I please ask for a manager to escort me? Weird. I was confused, and I expressed that confusion, and they went on to say, well, it's not. We just want to make sure everybody's safe. Curious. How did the HR people find out I was even there? Why did this come up? And remember, human resources departments exist to protect a company from liability. In what universe is implementing a very obviously discriminatory policy the proper thing to do, unless there's a threat? Apparently, this is happening in more and more places. It's really absurd that grown women need an adult to walk them to the restroom. It's degrading, infantilizing, humiliating, and terrifying that it seems like it's necessary. But that's why we're here. That's why I'm here, sharing my experiences as they happen, to stop things like that from being necessary. I'm here so everyone can see what it's like, what to expect in their own transitions where applicable, to answer questions from those of good faith who want to know more, and to show those of bad faith that we're just people like any other group. Stop hurting us, please. If you'd like to see more from me, subscribe. And come back later today to see more of what I do here. Tonight, I'm doing a debate review with my good friend Mark Reed of the epic showdown between anti-evolution apologist Mike Behe and biologist Dr. Jay Bundy. We're going to cover both the strategy and the science so you can see what works, what doesn't, and why, and be better prepared should you find yourself in a confrontation with a pseudoscience subscriber. If you're thinking, why, that's not the same as trans issues at all, you're right. But also you're not. Because the dirty little secret is that whether you're talking about anti-trans fanatics or flat earth conspiracy theory types, evangelical apologists, or intelligent design proponents, they all do the same things. They all have equally junk arguments and present them in identically shady ways, using the same tactics, the same manipulations, and they do it often for the same reason. And whether they know it or not, they're all doing harm to other people. And that, friends, is the issue. I don't really care what fairy tales people want to believe in. I don't care what shape some rando wants to pretend the earth is, or some jerk wants to pretend they know who I am better than I do. I care about stopping those who want to hurt others, or just don't care that what they're doing also does harm. I want to celebrate the wonderful people in this community, and to do that, I first need to make sure we're all safe. If any of that sounds good to you, join us. Until later, friends.